So this afternoon we're talking to Lauryn Awbrey, who is a trainer of readers. So Lauryn, just as an introduction, tell us a bit about yourself and which parish you worship in, and a bit about how you came to be involved in training readers in the first place.
Okay. I've been in post for coming up for 8 years, I think. I am a reader. I'm a reader at St. John's in Harpenden, and I moved there really almost immediately after licensing from Southwell Diocese. I'd already been involved in Southwell in the training of readers and doing bits and pieces of teaching. When I came to this diocese, it took a while. I did some teaching in secondary schools, and then when this post for reader ministry officer came up, I was very happy to jump in, and I had all the skills they wanted of somebody with experience in adult education, teaching skills, theological background.
Okay. So, reader training, how is that different from training ordinands? Because I understand that ordinands go away to college, but also ordinands still get trained when they're curates or doing things around here. What's the difference between ordinands and readers with respect to training?
There are some differences, but not as many as you might think. Mm-hmm. Not all ordinands go away to college. Some train with the readers. Okay. So our training readers and ordinands in St. Albans sort of interweave together. A lot of the modules are shared: Old Testament, New Testament, doctrine, history, spirituality, pastoral care, shared for the first time this year. Ordinands then go off and do some residential weekends. Readers continue to do training in the parishes. After licensing, both readers and curates participate in what's known as IME Phase 2.
What does that stand for?
IME is Initial Ministerial Education. It's supposed to be a continuum from the first 3 years, which is before licensing or ordination, and then the next 3 or 4 years after licensing or ordination. And again, some of that happens together and some separately. Okay.
So, but readers and ordinands are still different, as I understand it, in terms of the way they will be deployed?
Both start off in their own home parishes. Mm-hmm. Both do placements in other parishes. Ordinands do a slightly longer placement. Okay. Readers, after licensing, tend to stay in their own home parish, and ordinands then go off to their other churches to serve their curacy.
How do you expect readers to develop during the time of their training? What do you look for, as in someone going, the training's really benefited that person?
Training is a big commitment. It's hard work. And people tend to focus on the hard work aspect. But what should happen in the midst of all that hard work is a sort of unwrapping and opening up. So what I hope happens over the course of training is that readers become more open to what they don't know and can know, open to what they are capable of, open to the way that the Holy Spirit can work in their lives and enable them to do things they never thought they could do, whether that's preaching with confidence or working with children, which they never thought they could do, or being alongside people who are bereaved. Any number of new and different things, which at one point they might not have thought they could do, but they can.
Okay. And what difference do you think a trained reader can make in a parish?
A lot of difference. I think a reader provides a different voice, a different perspective on issues people in the parish are facing, a different theological opinion. They can lead services both within their own parish and hopefully across a deanery when there's a need for somebody to step in. They are not the vicar's little helper. They are people with a ministry in their own right, and hopefully readers and incumbents, parish priests, work alongside each other as a team.
You're wagging your finger when you say that. Do you feel you have to say that more to clergy or more to readers?
Clergy.
Why is that?
Well, no, some possibly to readers as well. Because people want to help. I mean, readers by nature are following a calling into, we hope, a ministry of service. And part of the service they want to provide is not just to their own parish, but to stressed out, sometimes, to a stressed out, hardworking clergy person, and they want to provide their gifts and talents and skills alongside that person's. But it's important that it's recognised as a complementary ministry.
Okay, and my understanding is that readers can quite often find themselves involved in all sorts of ministry which are quite separate from their parishes.
Hopefully, yes, again, for people who are in full-time employment, the question is true for them, which is true for every Christian. How are we faithful people in our offices, in our schools, in our places of work, out in the community? So that's a question for every Christian in their discipleship and faith. But for readers, it quite often is surprising how once your colleagues know that you're something churchy, officially churchy, they will turn to you and ask for prayer or to help with a funeral if a family member has died, or sometimes a person to talk to, or just to ask questions about faith and God and Christianity. So hopefully readers are a strong Christian presence wherever they are, in their workplaces or schools.
Sure. What do you personally get out of working with readers?
It's really exciting to watch people grow and change over 3 years. I think people quite often start with a certain amount of anxiety. Can I do this? It's going to be a lot of work. Am I in the right place? And then 3 years later, you stand with them as they're being licensed, and the bishop says, you know, are these people of good training and sound character? And I look at them and I think, gosh, you've stuck with training through illness in the family or death in the family or a job change, and you've been faithful and formed, and now you're open to going where God calls you in. And so that's just the best moment.
And what single piece of advice would you give to someone who is wondering about training to be a lay reader?
Oh, jump in. You can do it. We'll support you. You know, some people come with a strong academic background. Some people come with next to none. Some people come and they're really busy. That's sometimes an issue, but yeah, we'll help people move through and just give it a go. You might be surprised.
Thank you very much. Don't go away yet. Yes, I mean, you were asking about, you were talking about clergy and having to wag the finger at clergy a bit about not being vicar's little helper.
Sometimes that's true of people who start their reader training as well, but yeah. By the end, we hope that everybody understands they're a team, a happy team.
Yeah, you don't have to go in and beat people up too much, as in,
No.
you know. Okay, I mean, this is more a part political point, but I mean, St Albans seems to pride itself as a diocese. It's got a lot of readers. Often we look kind of over our shoulders at other dioceses which do things differently. What would you say is distinctive about the way readers operate in St Albans Diocese?
We are valued by our bishops and archdeacons, particularly by the bishops. The fact that our warden is the Bishop of Hertford says a lot about the value the diocese places on reader ministry. The bishops speak highly of readers. They recommend readers. It's the support that the bishops offer, I think, is key.
Thank you very much.